Good evening, America. Should say good morning, America. Happy 2017. I'm Scott Binsack, founder of MFA. Thank you for joining me this late morning New Year's Eve show. I wanted to stop by, say hello, give you some updates on what's happening, and just wish everybody a wonderful Happy New Year and 2017, not just in America but around the world, to all our friends and members. It's a new year, a time for a new president in America, time for new beginnings. I believe we can all have a new beginning every day, that we don't need the beginning of the year to change our lives. When you look back on 2016, I believe so many people found out the truth about our government, about our politicians, about other governments, about foreign wars, about the corrupt, and how millions and millions of people have misunderstood or not acknowledged what's really going on in the world, and that our government and many other international governments are that of all basic puppets of a much larger financial system and global power of that of 13 families. I believe truthfully that the world can change. I believe that people can change. I believe that people can be educated and rise up together and overcome the many, many serious problems we all face today, not just as Americans, but as citizens of the world. Because if we do not wake up, if we do not unite, our world may never be again as we know it. It's already changing every day at drastic speeds. 2017 needs to be the people's year. It needs to be for America, to make great again for our new president, as well as for the world, to bring peace, to bring truth, to bring unity most of all. There's too much hate in the world. There's too much suffering in the world. The sad part of it is we can fix it. We can all fix it. Instead of being at each other's throats, whether it be international powers or whether it be your neighbor next door, we can unite. We really should be all on the same team. And it's sad that we are not. It is sad that America has been divided so badly by our government and by the powers that run them. For the first time, I believe, in American history, we have a people's president. Maybe JFK and Ronald Reagan came close, but I don't think you'll ever find another presidential candidate, or now president-elect, like Donald Trump. But most of all, I don't think you're going to find another point in history, and thus time, when it is so important for people to unite, not just in America, but in the world, to stop the constant manipulation of the people for those above us, the elite's needs. They have been manipulating our society and the world since the beginning of time. People need to stop that. We need to be the new world order. People need to rise up. People need to come together and unite and stop this madness. Over 500,000 people are dead in Syria alone, innocent people, over a senseless war. Our military has suffered for it as well. Afghanistan, Iraq, Benghazi, thus Libya. At the throats at Cold War levels now, back since we haven't seen since the beginning with Russia. The list is endless. Our own country's voting system not being reliable. People have probably been the most stressed out ever in the history of America for an election. While we sat back and allowed Hillary Clinton and the likes to cheat, lie, and steal. People need to truly realize that we are in power. We are the ones in power, not the government, not these 13 families that believe that they are, the God sent and the bloodlines of that from, the sick madness that they think. But you see, since the beginning, they have fed us everything that they wanted to feed us. And many fell for it. From the news that we see every day to the education our children receive, to the foods that we eat, the financial system and the banks that we use, to the medications we take, to the health care we need, to the education of our children. They have slowly eroded and built a world based on truly the matrix, on lies, to feed their own greed and power. It's time for America to stand up and say no more. It's time for the world to stand up and say no more. And many people say, nah, that's impossible. No, it is very possible. And it is our only saving grace. And I believe 2017 is the beginning of that. And it should be the beginning of a new world order where people are in charge, where people are heard, where justice is truly justice, where we can start to believe and get true news and accurate facts, and our children can go to school and learn our history as well as world history, and without that of worrying of being bullied or being taught something that is not even part of the history of our country, without being worried about being dumbed down. Where religion is free, where speech is free, where the right to bear arms is free, to protect your family, your homes, and most of all, without terrorism. Most of all, without living in fear. Without having to wake up every day and see that there had been another horrible terroristic incident, like just one happened in Istanbul, where innocent people in a nightclub, many, many dead, just as of tonight. Another one in Finland just took place tonight. Australia, in a festival. It is possible. It is very possible. And thus, you saw this possibility when every one of you stood up and voted for Donald Trump. When people said that could never happen. He can never be president. You saw it in the UK with Brexit. They said, no, The UK will never leave the EU. See, when people unite and people speak and people act, they can never stop us. And the idea now, and the reason even for me with MFA, is I want people to understand that there is hope, that people are the powerful ones, not the government. They need us more than we need them. And if you do not feed into them, and thus their BS, they cannot control you, nor will they be able to take your rights from you, nor will they be able to continue to create senseless wars and false terrorist organizations. Because the people won't stand for it anymore. Where you're able to pray, whatever religion you are, and say what you want to say, and be able to afford health care, where you're able to put your children in schools, good schools, and not that of being forced to follow some agenda. Most of all, people must remember that there is hope, that anything can be achieved if you want it to be achieved. Anything can come to fruition if you think it, you believe it, and you do it. I'm a big advocate of that because I myself have learned over the years through great successes, but as well as great failures, to learn how to change as a man. And if I can change, anyone can change. If I can see the light, you can see the light. If you can get Donald Trump elected against all the odds that he was up against, you can get anyone elected because he beat all the odds. But why did he beat the odds? Because of you. You have to remember this. It is because the people spoke. It is because you risked it, stood up, and voted. People must always remember that we create our own destinies. We create, thus, our planet's own destiny, our country's own destiny. There will be no more, and I believe this is the Great Awakening, there will be no more government to control the people. And even with the things as they are right now, with 20 days left before Barack Obama leaves, no matter what they throw at us, or Donald Trump, I still believe on January 20th he will be sworn in. And I believe as of tonight, January 1st, 2017, that the world is a better place because more people are awake. More people have learned that they do matter. All lives matter. All lives matter. And every person going in a positive direction can make that difference. We must not forget who we are, what we stand for in this country, what we are about, and how we got there. And not become complacent ever again. Because that's what's got us here. Don't fall prey to this great plan of deception. Be awake. Be alive. Be positive. Be you. Be real. 2017 is the beginning of the new world order for people, by the people. And you're seeing it across the globe. I know it may look gloom and doom and horrible things happening across the planet, but at the same time, there is a new awakening. There is a new beginning. And many, millions of people are seeing this. And millions of people are standing up across the globe to save our world, to save our country and their countries. It's time for people to just learn to be themselves. Not what society wants you to be, not what the media wants you to believe, not what your friends want you to be, or your family wants you to be, but what you want to be. And part of being yourself is standing up for what you know is right. Many have lost friends this year in the past year in 2016 because of your vote. Because of your vote and your beliefs for a new beginning and in the new president, many lost friends and family and horrible arguments and violence across the country. Some paid for and instilled, some not. This 2017 is the end of the Bush and Clinton and Obama dynasties, and thus the end of the elite in America and even around the world. And yes, will they try to pull many things? Will the elite and the financial bankers try to do whatever it is that they can to stop progress, to stop unity amongst people, to strip us of our rights? Yes, they will. But I believe this time, and more every day as people get educated to the truth, as people wake up, as people see what's going to be exposed in 2017, even further, that they will learn and they will grow and they will unite. And together, we can stop corruption. We can stop the violence. We can stop the hatred. And make America great again, as well as the world. It would be nice to see a world where countries could truly get along. And I believe that's possible, and 1,000% possible, regardless of race, religion, or others. As long as people understand who's in charge or who they want to be in charge, and that is a group of elite men of families of descent who have been deceiving everybody on this planet and using them and playing them since the beginning of time. And once you cut that head off of that snake, of that beast, as you see unraveling around the globe now, you will see a much different world. And in America, you'll see a much different America. Regardless of the liberals, regardless of the Democrats who didn't get it. We together can fix it. So, Happy New Year, everybody. It's great to be alive. Did you ever think about that? Just, every day above ground, it's a Marine saying. And the Marines, they're like, Hoorah! Every day above ground is a good day. And you know, every day above ground is a good day. Because life is precious. And I believe many of us at times take advantage of that and not remember that. Or our situations. Many live in poverty, many are sick, many, don't have roofs over their head, food on their tables, jobs, or using, like these crying Democrats, crayons and coloring books and not getting it right about what's truly going on around them. They truly should be prayed for. I'm not kidding you. To be so blinded to the truth, to be so blinded to believe the lies and the false media that's been thrown at them. It's sad because it truly is sheep. They're sheep. And I believe one person at a time, they can change and they can be educated to the truth. And most of all, we must protect our freedom of speech. It is probably the most important, up there with the right to bear arms. But freedom of speech is tremendous. And they have tried to silence us, America, and those in the world. Do not allow them ever to silence you. The right to speak your feelings, your opinions, to express your religion, your beliefs, is super, super important. Probably the most important thing on this planet. Because without information, and thus people putting it out there, we're doomed. We're doomed. Do I think we're doomed? No. We could be doomed. But we cannot allow them to silence us. And it is one of the biggest fights we need to fight, and that of the freedom of speech and thus religion, and right along with that, the right to bear arms and to protect your home and your family. I look at this situation where our government has stooped so low to come up with the fact that this great big lie that Russia hacked the DNC, that Hillary Clinton lost because of the Russians, that now they are even possibly hacking our electric grid, and that's a sign to me of a false flag possibly coming, of some type of allegation that Russia smashed our electric grid by hack or by EMP or something, but I believe it would be saying that they would say that it would come from a hack from Russia, because in Vermont, all of a sudden, a laptop shows up or a computer-based station shows up and says, oh my God, we found a trail to Russia, and Homeland Security comes in and blah, 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 blah. This is the disgrace. These people are embarrassing themselves. Our own branches of intelligence are embarrassing themselves, and other people are, people around the world are laughing at them. Russia never infiltrated anything. And you're going to see a very big statement coming from Donald Trump, as I stated earlier, that Russia didn't do it. But my point of this is that by doing this and saying this incredible big lie, even to fake reports, even to which they admit on it, like, this is not accurate information, don't take it, don't take it for what it is. The audacity for them to do this is probably the biggest slap in American voters' face. Because it was the voters, it was the American people who put Donald Trump in power. It had nothing to do with Russia. It had nothing to do with Comey's leaks Comey investigating Hillary Clinton and not investigating Hillary Clinton. It had to do with a movement that came about from all of us who followed Donald Trump. And America woke up. People who never voted before voted. People who were Democrats, didn't want to say it, but did vote for Trump. They wanted change. They demanded change. That's where this came. But the point of what I'm trying to say to you is that it is the biggest slap in American citizens, patriots' face to say that the Russians hacked our system and possibly caused that of the election, Hillary to lose and that of Donald Trump's win. It's mind-blowing that they would go to this extreme, and this is my point. If they're going to this extreme, get prepared, because they're going to go to further extremes. And now that you see that there's a pop-up of the electrical grid, possibly by Russia, Obama has 20 days left. And it's something for everyone to be concerned about, but at the same time, not to live in fear. Be concerned, but don't live in fear. Because they want you to live in fear. We can change this, America. Because if we don't allow them to mislead us, they lost. If you believe in this, we lose. You can't believe their propaganda. You can't believe their lies. You can't believe the fake news. The real fake news. That's another slap in America's face. That they have decided that the government is the one that must decide what you read and what you don't read, instead of you to figure it out on your own. But yet they'll allow terrorists to have social media sites and websites and all the like. But, good people trying to express the truth cannot. They will live in fear of us. They will live in fear of us. And that's what you're seeing happening all over the globe. They can't carry out their great globalization plan if people don't allow them to. They can't... Excuse me, my computer just popped on here with a video. I don't know if anybody noticed tonight, and everybody know I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but did you all notice, if anybody who watched everybody in Times Square, what the color theme was? Even all purple. Everything's purple. Everything was purple. Purple hats, purple balloons, purple where the ball drops and the clock is, all purple, purple all around it. Even CNN hosts that were caught on glance had purple ties on. Everything was purple. Purple, purple, purple. I believe in 2017 you're going to see, thus I should say, you're going to continue to see, but on a larger scale, the likes of George Soros and even Obama when he's out of power, and the Clintons still carrying out and wanting to carry out with the elite the destruction of America. And they're not going to make it easy for Donald Trump or for us. But we must see through this and stand through it and stand up to it. I believe you'll see in 2017 Donald Trump, Vladimir Putin, and other countries stand up and finally wipe this planet off of ISIS, no matter where they are. You know, it's kind of funny. Last night, I got to watch. I'm a very big advocate for Snowden, but I never got to see his movie. I've researched all of the information, I've done all that, but I never got to see his movie, and I got to see it here on the iPad, and I knew everything that was in there, but when you get to see it, and you get to see, and I want to point this out to everybody, we have the intelligence and the accuracy to locate, find, and see every one of these ISIS terrorists, no matter where they are. Even if they're in a mountain, in a rock, hiding under rocks, it doesn't matter. In buildings, we have the ability to just blow up that building with them in it, or them standing on a street corner holding a gun, holding a surface-to-air missile, rocket launcher. We can see them and take them out instantly. Boop, goodbye. This is the truth. We have this ability. So then I present to you, if we have this ability, how can we not get rid of 33,000, roughly 30,000, 35,000? Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. 40,000 radical Islamic terrorists. Why would it take years? You find their location, you destroy them, and that's it. That's it. They're done. I think you're going to see that in 2017. I think you're going to see this bullshit stop. Because the world should be without terrorism. Yes, I'm sure you'll always have some form of it, but not the creation. We should not be riddled with terrorists, I should say, terrorism, from that of our own creation, fed by your own tax dollars, no less. And then send your own children, sons and daughters, to go fight the terrorism that we ourselves have created. Think about the sickness and the madness of that. But it's the truth. Because it's this sick game. It's this world power. It's this about money and greed, control, population control, you name it, it's all there. People must say no more in 2017 and be awakened to the truth. I did say Snowden. And I believe you will see Snowden pardoned probably by the Trump administration, because the man deserves to be pardoned. Why? Because we've enacted laws that our government and under the Obama administration have not followed, probably for his whole term of that of the safety of whistleblowers. That's why you saw WikiLeaks surge over the past 8 years, because people would leak to them for safe purposes, because they couldn't leak in the United States by the right way, and going even to a branch of our government, say the FBI, whoever, to give them the information to prove the truth, because they were part of the problem. They were all in on it. It wasn't safe. It needs to be safe for American citizens to go and, if they need to, whistleblow to protect that of others and to expose our government if they're doing something wrong. And that was a serious wrong, what Snowden on. Yeah. Have they stopped it? They say they have. Do I believe they've stopped it? No. Can they see everything that we do and say and write and text and type and send? Of course they can. Of course they can. Thus, I give this to you again. We know that they can. Snowden proved that they can. But yet we still have terrorism. Yet we have terrorists that use social media sites and, we should not have, with our technology and on what we have, we shouldn't have that. But they were using this against us. Out of all the countries that were being tracked by the CIA and other, was the United States. And the U.S. citizens were being tracked the most. Not Russia, not China, not any other country, but the United States. The government was more concerned with tracking us than our enemies. What does that tell you? That's some scary shit right there. That's some scary shit. That our government was more concerned about tracking everyday American citizens' lives from social media platforms, it doesn't matter what one it was, than that of tracking those who are to be enemies, are other countries like China, Russia, North Korea. Give it to you, it doesn't matter. I mean, Iran. They were tracking us more than anyone else. You have to ask yourself why. It's a serious question. Why? Why would our government want to track its own citizens when we live in a democratic society with open borders between our states, under a constitution with laws? Why does the government want to track us more than our enemies of the United States? There's only one conclusion. They want to control us. This is what the people cannot allow. And this is why Snowden is a hero, for exposing it. But yet, here again, we turned against Snowden. Obama turned against Snowden. Because his conscience would not allow him to go and proceed on any further. This from a very intelligent man who wrote and designed and created some of the programs themselves, one of the programs themselves, that called Heartbeat, that tracked people even further. Scott, there was a message to you in my feed. Yes, it's part of Agenda 21. Francine, I haven't seen any message. What's the message? I want to make this very clear. There will be no more of me discussing any of these haters in my shows to the public on this channel. We go officially to MFA TV tomorrow evening, as well as you'll see some live, still here. You'll still see that here, as well as some of these lives. I can't be bothered with the drama or the bullshit anymore. My agenda is much more important, as is ours here at MFA and the likes. We have legal people taking care of this and some other people to expose these people once and for all, nor should you be bothered with it. I just want to make that clear. And I appreciate everybody sending me different things and doing all that. I just want you to know that I just don't care anymore. I don't care. I don't care what they say. I don't care what they do, or they want to show pictures or this or that or make shit up. I don't care. Because I have nothing to hide. And, you're here to be part of MFA and something bigger and great, wonderful. You don't want to be, then please pack your shit and leave. And I'm not trying to be rude, it's just I'm being real. Because people here, and the good people here, and myself, we want to do something good for our country and the world, as well as for each other. Not live in this past bullshit or current lies and deception. I don't want that in 2017, nor will I give these people the time of day. And you shouldn't give these people the time of day, because most of them are seeking attention themselves because they have none. And it's drama. And there's zero tolerance in 2017 for drama. I don't have any drama. And I don't know what the serious... Exactly, Michael Vincent. You ignore the haters and the trolls, because no matter what, they're going to be there. These people, not just against me, against Trump, against Alex Jones, against anybody and everybody. I'm just saying, anybody who's the truth, you're going to have haters. If people either... My whole life has been that way. You either love me or you hate me. Whatever, that's just the way it is. I don't know why that is. That is. People have been very jealous of me since I was younger. I mean, I left school, I became very successful. I've had people try to lie and strip that from me. No, you're not going to strip that from me. You're not going to strip who I am and all the good things I've done for people and the successes I made of my own from very hard work and knowledge and that. You're not going to strip that from me. I don't care what you say, because the truth is still going to be the truth. And I just don't have time for it anymore. There's no time for it. These people, they have time on their hands because they have no life. I don't. I have a life, and I have a purpose, and it's a good one. Yes. So I'm just telling you all, no drama. No trolls, no whatever. You're going to get people once, and they're going to pop up on these feeds, whatever. We'll delete them. We'll block them. Have a nice day. And no, it's not people who have opposite opinions. You're welcome here. Your opinion is always welcome here. I'm talking about people that are haters or liars or somebody who wants to, And I'm saying this, we just created a new MFA official prayer group, and that page, that group, I should say, will be up. My team is ready to create it. My team, we created a beautiful banner for it. Pray for America, it's called. And Prayer for America. Please, I'm going to say something. Have some respect for this group if you're a hater. Have the least the decency to respect the group for, the peaceful prayer and religious freedom it creates. Nobody cares or wants you to interrupt their BS, and it will not be tolerated. Tina, no, I haven't mellowed. I'm not mellowed, believe me. My passion is serious. I'm not mellowed. I'm just being me tonight. This is, one thing about me is I'm not a mellow guy. I'm a very passionate person. I think people confuse that with anger. If I'm angry, I'm going to tell you I'm angry. But if I'm discussing something of that nature and what it is, that's my passion about it. That's my realism about it. That's not, anything else but that. And we have a great, and I want to say this, it's a new year. I want to thank everybody who has trusted MFA and trusted myself and donated to us and helped us get to where we are. I think we made our possible goal of 10,000 raised in our main fund, and all the people who donated to Gatlinburg. And you're going to see anytime, and we're, with our disaster relief, that's very important to me, because I see what the government, and I've tried to show you what FEMA does and doesn't do, and the Red Cross doesn't do, and Americans need people's help when in time of need. Children, our For Children program is very important to me. Children across this country and as well as across the globe are in trouble. And they need... Children are innocent, and children need help on a grand scale. Animals need help on a grand scale. Not just your household pets. I mean, our planet is destroying our, ecosystem, and thus they're part of that on a daily basis. But that's what they want as part of Agenda 21 and the like. And like I said, when you're doing something good and you're telling the truth and you're doing something good, that's when you're going to come up against the most resistance you'll ever face. And you saw that with Donald Trump as well. He came up against every bit of evil, and then he's still coming up against it, as am I and other truthers and other people and that are true patriots. Because when the light surfaces, the dark, that's how you know you're doing something right. That's how you know there's a bigger purpose behind this, and what has to go into it. And that's what I'm passionate about. So if you see me get, that's me. There's no in-betweens with me. This is, there's me, and then you'll see me, the passionate me, and the one, and yeah, I get angry. And most of the time I get angry at ignorance. If you want the honest truth, I'll give you straightforward. I get angry at ignorance. I get angry at people who assume things and don't educate themselves, or want to look at the truth for what the truth is. Because our society has been and this is what I'm saying, the elite have made it that our society feeds off of this media and this propaganda, and that's what gets me frustrated. Because people, instead of saying, wait a minute, and using common sense and saying, it's like calling Donald Trump a rapist. I want you to think about that. If you look at Donald Trump and you look at even his family, and you look at how respectable, and even Hillary Clinton, the bitch even said, straightforward, at the end of a debate, what's one respectful thing that you can say about Donald Trump? And she says, his family. Bitch, you just said he's a good man. By saying his family, he is the figure, the face, and the representative of that family. He's the head of that family, of his children, of their kids, grandkids, etc. So you just complimented him, not his family. You just complimented him as a good man because you're telling the world that he has a good family and you respect him for his family. But yet in the other breath, you want to call him a con man and a fraud and the likes, and a rapist and a womanizer and the likes. None of that even shows in his family. Bigotry doesn't even show in his family. You want to call him a bigot. Bigotry doesn't even show in his business. It doesn't even show in his business practices. Women who wanted to vote for Hillary Clinton and did not like Donald Trump based on the propaganda that they were bought into, for real? Donald Trump hires more women than I believe men, if I look at the statistics, and they're in more executive positions. And I believe like he does. I'm going to be honest. Women make great leaders. Women make great executives and employees and or self-employed business people. Women are more powerful than men when it comes to, I believe this fully, and this is not to, I'm not kissing any, sorry guys, I'm just being straight with you. Men make great, men are great leaders, but what I'm trying to say, women, I believe emotionally have a better handle on handling certain situations of that in a business environment and or a political environment, or like running in the household environment, than that of a man. If they are stable, like even a man, that goes for a man as well. If they're not stable individuals, then no, but male or female. But Sandra brings up a very good point. I'm angry at our own fellow Americans who are following the elite's commands to destroy out their own country. Yes, our work has just begun because immigration are coming in by the thousands daily. Yes. That's what I'm trying to say to you. 27 is just the beginning, and it's a good start. with a good president coming in, I believe who will do things for the people and cannot be bought. But it's going to take the people, and that's what I'm saying. The new world order should be the people. For the people, by the people, and that's what the founders of our Constitution wanted, regardless of anything of the likes, of which, the history behind that. Yes, Michael Vincent makes a very good point. Donald Trump was actually a big part of the whole 80s revolution of empowering the modern businesswoman. That is very correct. Michael Vincent's a very intelligent young man. I'm saying he's young, he looks young to me. So Michael, I'm not trying to, but you're very intelligent. And he has provided me with lots of information when needed, and I want to thank him for that. He's a very good part of MFA. So this all comes down to the bottom line of people. People. We have the power, not the government. People have been asleep for too long. People have been misled for too long. People have been lied to for too long. Our country needs help. Our country needs the swamp drained, not just in Washington, I mean across the country. And I say this because I know everybody likes to focus on Washington and the corruption there. But corruption starts in the smallest towns and places across the United States. And I know this. I've come to be the victim of this small town corruption at one point in my life. And it doesn't have to be Washington. And this is my point. One life affected or many lives affected by a corrupt judge or prosecutor or police officer or others. And I'm not saying that I'm all for police. I am one of the biggest advocates for police. I'm one of the biggest advocates for law. I'm one of the biggest advocates for that. My father was a detective and a police officer. My grandfather was a police officer. At one point in my life, I thought I was going to be a police officer. That's the truth. Before I did what I did, and my calling was what it was when I was younger. My point, though, is that when you are victimized of this, the people are powerless against it in small towns and cities across the United States. And then this gets riddled and spreads rapidly. And this is what's happened in our country, because in small towns and in cities and the like, it's still about the power and the greed. That's where corruption strews from. Where people, if you're sworn in as a judge, then you should, and you want to swear in and be a judge, then you should be a fair judge. Whether you're a Republican, Democrat, liberal, whatever it may be, independent, you should be just that. You should be the mind that you're supposed to be and what you swore yourself in to be, and not that to help any district attorney, friend, foe, etc., or go after them and that, and be neutral. If not, don't be a public official and or in any part of justice, of the justice system. Don't be a part of it. America's biggest other problem is the biggest breakdown in this country is the justice system. We have more people imprisoned in the United States as of 2017, as of January 1st, 2017, than any other country in the world. Yet our population is nothing close to we'll say China, okay? They don't have as many people in prison as we do. Prison is a business here. Prison's not supposed to be for business. Prison's supposed to be, for truth. I mean, to truly put violent, destructive people in jail. But it's a business. And innocent people get caught up in this. When you start using criminal prosecution to go after that of what's civil, you have a big breakdown in the judicial process. And Snowden is one of those targets. Okay, I'm using that as an example. Julian Assange is the target of that, even though it wasn't in this country. I'm just saying this on a bigger scale. I'm telling you, this is and me, I could care, listen, I'll tell you right now, if I did something wrong, I'll tell you. I'm man enough to say, hey, we all make mistakes, we all do whatever, no problem. Okay. It's how people look at this stuff, and I'm gonna say this, because in 2017, people need to really start to understand this. If you're in business, and this is where I believe Donald Trump's going to change, it's like almost entrepreneurship has been, I did a show about this a while back. It's like entrepreneurship in the United States has been killed because people are even afraid to go in their own businesses because they're afraid of being sued or accused or doing something, etc., and taking that risk in America. And you can even look how they hit Donald Trump because he claimed bankruptcy, and my issue started back in 1998 when it happened, from that of a bankruptcy, a Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And then some other things tied to it, the other. But the main part of it was tied from a bankruptcy. Just like Donald Trump, they blamed him for this bankruptcy in fucking Atlantic City, excuse my French, for these casinos. The idea in America and what built America is for people to go, entrepreneurs to go out there and take a chance and take a risk. No risk, no reward. Those who risk the most, okay, succeed the most. It's a fact. But they've made it now that if you go into business and you fail, they want to make it a crime. Well, that's not right. That's why you see many people not risking going into business, because it's not just that, oh, you'll be civilly sued, one of the other. Civilly sued or both or the likes. If you start a business, and our country was built on small business, that's what built, the middle class is what built this country. And they have taken the middle class and gutted it. And that was the whole plan. They gutted it. They removed it. So now you have a tier that used to go, lower income, middle income, and then the wealthy. Now it's just lower, no middle, and then straight up. And straight up. And they did this because the people allowed them to do this. And it's by fear as well as this. Because people, and this is where you get bankruptcy. Bankruptcy was originally not for personal individuals. It was created for corporations in this country to protect them. God forbid, they did fail. The economy failed. And I'm going to tell you this as a builder. You open a construction company, and if you're a developer or a custom home builder, and I'm just using this as an example, the economy could be doing great today. So, you get land, and I'm using this as I was a custom home builder, so it's a little different, but what happened to me in PA was that of a developer, so it's a little different. Point being, you get land, or you decide you're going to develop a development and put in infrastructure and build homes, or you're going to build someone else's home on their land or get them the land to do it. I'm just using this as a quick example. You go in, you put your own money into your own business, you set out with great intentions, you want to be successful, everything's great. Then let's just give you an example. All of a sudden, you're in your business 6 to 12 months. Everything's going good. Wonderful. The next thing you know, I'm just giving you have a heart attack. You have a heart attack. You get sick. You get cancer. I'm using this example. Or let's give you another one. The economy tanks. The economy just tanks, which happens all the time. The economy tanks. Banks pull back loans. New construction loans are pulled. You name it. Operating costs could go up too high. You can't cover your overhead. Anything can happen, right? Thus, this is why you have to risk to be an entrepreneur and risk to go into business. Thus, you have no control over the what ifs. You have no control of, I'll give another example in the construction industry. We'll say it's the winter time and you have a bad winter, what we call a bad winter, where you got homes going up and the snow is horrible. I'm just giving an example because there's several years where the snow and the problems are very bad. And you can't get jobs completed on time because the weather's hard. They call them acts of God. So how is the business owner at fault and wantingly or intentionally out to harm a client if that happens to them? They're not. How is Donald Trump at fault when he bought casinos, got into the casino business in Atlantic City? How is he at fault to know that the economy wasn't going to establish those casinos? He tried it, he risked it. Okay, so the best way to exit was to use bankruptcy to exit that position and do it the best that he could with the laws that were available to him. That does not make him a con or a fraud because people didn't get paid along the way with the bankruptcy. That's the risk we all take when you go to work and get a job every day. This is how the American system works. Some businesses are successful, some businesses are not. When you go to work for someone else, there's no guarantee you're going to have a job there forever or that that business is going to continue. There is no guarantee. It's impossible. It's impossible. It's like an investment. If you invest in the stock market and today, you know, Coca-Cola is at X, Y, and Z, a blue chip is up at this, and then tomorrow a newspaper article hits or brands out that someone died from drinking a Coke, right? Just giving you an example. Maybe there was a bad batch of Coke out there, of Diet Coke. And then tomorrow, that hits the news and the stock of Coca-Cola goes poof, to the toilet. You can't blame Coke. You can't blame the market. You can't blame your stockbroker. You can't blame anybody. You want to know why? You knew the risk going in. There's no guarantees in life for anything, but especially in business, in investing, or the like. So that's why you try to find the best business that's been established and has, you know, a good rapport and the like, but even those businesses, there's still no guarantee. That's not fraud. That's not con, as it's want to be called to Trump. That's not, or you take a tax, I'll give you an example there as well in entrepreneurship. You use a tax code that's available to your advantage to pay the least amount of taxes possible. Now the government made this law. Congress passed this law. Thus that means the people knew about this law because you elect your congressmen, senators, congressmen, etc. But then you want to bash a man or bash others that use the law when that makes them smart. That doesn't make them a fraud, or that doesn't make them, yet then you see, and we'll use this case, Hillary Clinton, who came forward and used the same fucking tax code, but hypocritically nails Donald Trump and goes after him with these falsehoods about using the tax code for his taxes. For real? And then you get half America calling him, look, he avoided taxes. He's a fraud. He didn't pay taxes. He didn't do this. What? No. Do you know how much taxes he has to pay? This is where the ignorance comes into play, and this is where I get angry. Because the ignorance is this. He has to pay taxes on every building, every employee, everything that's there. He has to pay taxes on. Just like when somebody goes to work for him, all those people, the taxes get paid. Social Security, FICA, you know, the whole bit. So these people are ignorant enough to think, whoa, wait, great, he didn't have to pay taxes. Well, guess what? He can't get out of paying state taxes. He can't get out of paying property taxes. He can't get out of paying employment taxes. He can't get paying out of that. And all this generates income to not just the state the business is in, but the government itself. So of course, as you grow bigger and bigger, or even if you're this big, you want to have a good accountant and you want to do the best that you could, just like you and I would want to do, so we don't pay the least amount of taxes possible, because the government right now takes the most amount of taxes and leaves the American people down below, because that's the mentality that Barack Obama and the other family assholes there before had. In other words, the people are here and they are here. Now you're having a president that the people are going to be here, you know, equal. That's exactly, Cheryl, I see you on here, makes a very good comment. That, she's tired of people not researching information that they are fed. They don't care enough to look for the truth. And here's the point. Then there's people who just don't want to accept the truth. They think it's much more than that. They have to think it's much more than that. And these are the people that have problems themselves. These are the people who have their own personal issues that then try to take someone else's issues or someone else's what they think are issues and put the biggest spin on it and send it out there to create drama and get the attention for themselves and the like. And then they use the guise of, I'm doing this to protect other people. When you know nothing or you think something, when in fact you're not protecting anybody. It's your own, this is your own bullshit in your own head. Because usually 99% of the time, the truth is right here. There's no bullshit. There's no, it's real. There's nothing to hide. And our country has been ripped off of this by media that's been bought and paid for to where people don't even know what to watch anymore or to trust. And that creates stress throughout our society. This election created stress. Obama's, exiting is one of the worst presidents we've had, and he's showing his true colors even more and more. That stresses the, people out in society and families and individuals. You can't allow these people to stress you anymore. You need to be able to say, okay, and decipher what's the truth and not the truth and not have the stress affect you in your everyday life, because that's what they want. That's what they want. They want you to keep looking over here or not looking at all, really, because you're too stressed out or you got too much to do in your own life and of that nature, and have you going around in a circle like or it's like a male running in a big hamster wheel. Yep. Yep. Okay. Don't look over here while we're doing this, and what they're doing is robbing you every day. They're robbing you for their greater greed and power and cause every day, just like these small town corrupt individuals that then this goes rampant across our country because they believe and they know that they can get away with it. Me, I stood up to them, and they don't like that. They didn't like that. Trump is standing up to them, and they don't like that. Lane, yes, I believe you're going to see it get worse, but it's going to get better. It is getting better. And I see it every day. And people need to unite and stand up for the proper cause. And that is unity and fight for what is right and true. And that will stop them. Masses, people in masses will stop this. And I give you a full example again, and I say it in almost all my shows. Look at South Korea, and if you haven't seen that, Google what, just Google South Korea protest president. And you can watch the film of people, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people peacefully standing up for their belief that the president was corrupt and they wanted her gone. They got together. They didn't worry about their jobs. They didn't worry about anything because they weren't going to have any jobs if this president wasn't out of there. And they weren't going to have a country if this president stayed in there. They put themselves, their families, and their country first. And what they did was go out there and peacefully, and sure enough, within a week, whatever it's been, 7 or 8 days, whatever it was, 10 days maybe tops, bye-bye president, pack your shit, you're done. Have a nice day. Time for a new one. The people have spoken. This is the biggest thing that the United States and the world are missing. The people are in charge. The people together can stop anything that they want to stop. Instead of this, this is the problem. They want you just to talk and battle amongst yourselves and cause havoc between yourselves, because that keeps them in power. And they can grab more power and take more rights because no one's paying attention, because they're too busy arguing amongst themselves, or displaced, or caught up and stressed out, and don't know what to believe or what to do, or this and that. And this is the biggest agenda of them all, to where people, as you've seen now with Trump, are finally, but then I see people who have voted for Trump that say, don't worry, Donald will fix it. Donald will fix it. Donald will fix it. Donald will fix it. How about, no, not. How about, that's impossible. Donald needs the people. He said it himself. Donald needs our support. He needs, and when I say support, that means people helping people stop corruption, fight for their rights, stand up for what they believe in, and unify. Or he's not going to get, he's going to have the most difficult job, as any president coming in, especially with what they have planned for him and us as a country, because they do not want what's already been created, and as far as they've come with globalism, to get undermined. Yes, Joanne. The idea is to divide the people, dumb down the society, put people in fear, put people in poverty to be dependent on the government. That's one thing I have hated my entire life. I remember before I even left home, I was working, and I think I was working at 9 or 10 years old. Even I was always working with my great-grandfather, doing something with him, or my dad. My dad was a contractor on the side as a cop. But I was always doing something, whether it was paper route, I was always working. Whether it was a bus boy someplace, I was always working. I was always doing something, because I could not, and that's why when people say these things about, hate stuff people, I'm like, are you for real? I'll work 24 hours a day. I've just proven that with MFA. I've proven that in my other, I will work 24 hours a day if need be, a week straight at times, no kidding you, to the detriment of my own health, that I put others first before myself, to where it made me sick, healthy sick, in my health. And good night, Anthony. God bless you, sir. Yes, Bart. They're telling you to calm down. He won. No, it's not over. This is just the beginning. He has even said that to everybody himself. This is just the beginning. This is an immense thing. It's not just in the United States. This is global. In other words, people are waking up across the globe, and they want to stop globalism. They want to stop this elite machine from robbing and pillaging people and countries. Not just people, they pillage and rob countries. They create all these wars. If the people would just unite and say no more and stand up, others, when you set an example, others will follow. Fact. You don't talk, you don't do this, you act, and you set up as an example. And when you become an example, others will follow. I'll give you an example of a bad example. Recent riots, protest turned riot, from them advertising with the Purple Revolution, with George Soros funding it. Everybody's like, they're all paid. No. What they did was get a handful of groups with Black Lives Matter and the like, and selectively take these groups, pay these certain people to put them out there, and you know what happens? Just like the mall situation that just went havoc in the United States. People, idiots, wannabes, will follow. They follow along. So all you got to do is start it, and then they follow. I'll give you a good example. D.C. March for us. We're in D.C. I'm going to be putting those pictures up in this album on this thing tomorrow, by the way. But D.C. March. We started to march from the Capitol to the White House, police escort and all. As we were marching and protesting and praying, in the streets, people joined in it because they saw it, because we were setting an example, and it was being cast across international TV as well. And then the national TV came out because we set such an example, to the point where the Secret Service said to me, wow, this is, we've been here, we stand out here every day, we have to guard the White House, and these guys are like, wow. He goes, and we had several people who by themselves had stood in front of the White House. I mean, serious stories. These people protested on their own for their own cause, whether it be for religion, against Obama, for this, that, not in groups, but by themselves, and they unwaringly did it on a regular basis, just by themselves. They even came up to us and came in with us to join us and even speak and do it, because we set an example, and they weren't afraid. They said, whoa, these people are doing something. This is how you create a movement. This is what happened with Donald Trump. When he stood up to the media, when he said, I'm going to build that wall, and he stood up, and to all the criticism about, he set an example. And people followed. This is what we need in this country and in the world today. To the point where even other countries like Israel contacted me, and that's how I got these contacts internationally with international press. Israel, Japan, Hungary, I could go down a line. And I have all these contacts now, and all these people I deal with international press. And they did not one bad article, not anything. They were all about positive and seeing the truth and what's happening and this and that. Nothing bad. And I had discussions with all of them, and there were many. I asked them, I said, what do you think's wrong with our mainstream media? And they all said basically the same thing. They're like, that's not journalism. Journalism is dead in the United States. That's been bought and paid for. We want the truth. They're raised differently than us. These countries, the other citizens from Israel and the like, they are raised differently. These journalists seek out the truth. They seek out and want that story. That's missing here now in a great part. I mean, we still have great journalists, but my point is that it's really missing. Journalists would rather write anything just to get a headline. Doesn't matter if it's true or false, because that's what our society has taught them, and the companies that they work for, and what the company owners represent. It's not about the truth. It's not about real journalism like it used to be. It's about what sells, what's going to get them, people clicking on the internet, or selling that paper, or watching that channel, and or if they're tied to a political candidate or the like. Journalists should not be biased. They should be non-biased and investigate a story for both sides and put the truth out there. New York Times used to be that way. Not anymore. Done. Have a nice day. They've destroyed themselves. CNN destroyed themselves. The list is endless. Yes, Liz Westbrook, it's all about sales, but the bottom line, it all comes about this. Then it goes up the ladder to the control and the power and that of who, especially with politics, to help the one. Look at how they helped Hillary Clinton. And Donald Trump has and is planning, a major lawsuit, and he should follow through with it, because the negative press, and I know exactly what that is, the negative stories and false stories just to sell newspapers and or to watch their channel are like quadruple that, or even more, I should say, if you look at the statistic numbers against Hillary Clinton. They wantonly and willfully trashed that man, and they're still doing it to this day. And I have a big screen I pull up that has all news from every source on the planet, and I can go through stories in like 10 minutes. And you're going to start to see on our MFA website, our news channel, you're going to see that I'm going to pick, very similar to Drudge, but you're going to see me pick out the top like 25 stories on a daily basis and make them available, and then the links to other things, but the top 25 stories along with my team to do that, and then me cover these issues. Point being, we as a society and as a planet need to get back our morals and values and truth and honesty within us. because otherwise society is going to keep going the direction it has been, and it has been going nothing but a downward spiral. People have to fight again. People need to believe again. People need to have hope again. People need to be able to express their religion again. People need to be, and I see this in our country, and I'm going to say this, whether people want to hear it or not. We have a Muslim president, okay? And this is nothing against the good Muslims, but I'm going to tell you something. We have a jihadist Muslim president, and you know what? He has destroyed Christianity and did everything he could, as well as Judaism, in this country. Fact. And you know what's sad? The people allowed him to do it. The people allowed him to do it. I'm going to tell you what, a few 100,000 Americans, 500,000 Americans storming on the White House, wanting to protect their religious freedoms, I can assure you, you would still have, I'll give you an example. You want to say a Pledge of Allegiance in the classroom? I'm just using that as an example. Christ, every American on the planet, I don't care what party you're with, should want to keep that. I mean, that's like, it's a Pledge Allegiance to the flag of your country. It's just instilled in children from, as well as they used to pray. I used to remember when I went to school, and even when I didn't go to a private school, and I was in public school right before I quit, you would still have prayer. They had prayer in school, believe it or not. And it didn't matter what religion you were. It was a silence. It was prayer. It was a moment of silence. It was for prayer. So it didn't point out to one particular religion. It was just to God, because God hears all prayers from all people, Regardless of what religion you are, there's still only one God. I'm sorry to tell you. There's not, and I saw the other side. That's another thing, but I won't even give them the benefit of this. I'll mention this one thing. You have people who are even hating against me, telling me I didn't die in an auto accident. You were there in the operating room. You've seen my medical records? Too bad they don't even know those medical records are actually, I made them public to prove what it says. They paddle, resuscitate, you understand? But these people, this is my point of ignorance. They have the audacity, and this is why people laugh at them and say, "Are you for real? You were in the emergency room, the operating room with me for the 14-hour surgery on my head, as you post my X-rays up that show the basic 50+ plates in my head and screws and a trach in my throat and all the like." And you have the audacity to say that I didn't die on that auto accident. I died twice. I was found basically when they warmed me up on the site in the snow after the cliff I went off of, and they warmed me back up. I ended up having to be chest needled on site. Okay? Then they brought me to an operating table, and the medical records show, they said he has 30 minutes to live. They sent the state police. They found my mother's number in my wallet. Contact emergency, and even sent this I was in PA, they sent the New York State Police to my mother's house to tell my mother, who ended up dead 6 months later from a massive heart attack, that her son only had 30 minutes to live. They told my ex-wife this as well. And within that 30 minutes, a priest came in, gave me my last rites. I know, but you guys know the truth, right? Because you were there. You know it all, right? And no disrespect to y'all, I would never, ever tell somebody, but I can prove it, but my point is something of that nature to make up for what? What do I gain by telling the world that I died in an auto accident and have 50 plates in my face and a trach and collapsed lungs and everything else? What's the gain? That's the logic and the common sense that I say that people are missing. What's the gain? There's no gain. There's no angle. It's just me being honest. It's to tell people, because this part of my life is a very important part of my life. And when you see the other side, I believe it's something people should know what's there. I think people should understand what life is about and what I saw and had the experience to see. But people will even knock you for this and claim, and this is my point, they blame God. These people actually believe this crap. And it's just like this stuff. I'll talk to people to this day. Donald Trump. Oh, you're a Donald. Wear my Donald Trump Pence hat, right? Or my MFA Trump hat. Around. I'll walk in. I kid you not. I'll walk into, it could be a gas station. It could be anything. Oh, you voted for that that rapist? Serious. You voted for that rapist? I'm like, yeah, all day long. All day long I voted for him. And I said, you know he's a rapist. How? I read it. Was he ever convicted of it? No. Did he ever settle a lawsuit on it? No. So then how do you know he's a rapist? Well, you know, the news told me, the paper told me, the internet told me. This is the answers you get. But the first answer in their belief in their head is, you voted for that rapist? You voted for that child rapist. And yet, the man has never been convicted or even civilly, won or charged or proven anything of the like. But this is how people think. And it's very sad, and that's what needs to stop. Because you're not doing anybody any good by not getting the truth and the true facts and passing judgment when you don't even know yourself. You don't know that's the truth. It's different. Now, don't get me wrong. You know, everybody's human. Okay? I have no, this has nothing to do with rape, by the way, so I'm just staying in point. People are human. People make mistakes. People do wrong. Yet people want to point out like they're perfect, like they are God, that they have never done anything wrong in their life, that they are this, and these people are so psychotic, and I'm not just talking hate, I'm talking people even with Trump. People are so psychotic that they need, coloring books and crayons and therapy dogs and all this bullshit. What? Get over yourself. This is what half of our country has become, this liberal, and it's a disease. It truly is a disease up there like bipolar. I'm just telling you. And depression. This is a disease. These people are truly on like one-track belief system. And once again, there's Donna Brazil just recently. I just said to my show, damn, go after those Russians more for hacking that email? Yeah, do it. They fixed that email. I didn't get that questions from CNN. Hell no. I didn't get none of that. Nope. The Russians, but I remember on news. But you need to look at them emails. They came from the Russians. That's what the Russians doing. Never did she say, no, I didn't do that. Oh, wait, I shouldn't say that. She did. She even lied that really big. I'm a Christian woman. I would never do that. It's the Russians, man. They fixed that. They said they can't be relied on. What? For real? That's pathological. That's pathological. This is my point. It's fucking pathological. And there'll be Donna Brazil pointing her finger at Trump. He did, or Putin. Y'all, we need bigger sanctions against the Russians. Obama need to do more. You lying, cheating piece of shit. You got caught. You got bashed on TV, straight out, called your number on the national, international, and national news, and you got caught. And that's the problem. And you lost on top of it. You cheated to the extremes that you did, and you still lost. What's that tell you? Donna Brazil, Hillary Clinton, Podesta, another sick fuck. Sorry, excuse my French. That man makes me want to puke. This guy, you ever seen I got insiders in Washington. I'm telling you, I have stuff we haven't even put up yet in the underground. And I'm talking, this shit ain't on the internet. I'm telling you right now. I'm talking even pictures from inside this man's home. I'm talking about stuff. This guy is a sick, sadistic man. And all of you who don't think Pizzagate's real, you got another thing coming. Because I'm going to tell you what, it is seriously real. And the more elite they are, the more wacko they are, the more pedo they are. Trust me. You got inbreeding that has gone down from the Rothschild family, the wealthiest family on the planet, to keep in their head their bloodlines together. So they inbreed, and guess what that creates? Complete psychotic madness. It's a proven medical fact. So these are the people, the wealthiest family in the world, the biggest bankers in the world, are inbred, psychotic individuals. It's the truth. Even more better, Laura Bishop brings it out. But she won the popular vote. Do you know how many people I argued with to the point after right from the election? To those of you who were with me on election night, we went through that. OMG. These people. Donald Trump won the popular vote. Donald Trump. That's all I heard. And finally, the true fake news, just so you know, there were several sites putting out fake news that Donald Trump did win the popular vote. And they would send them to me. And I would say, that's fake. That's not accurate. Look at the true, here's the correct link to see the numbers. Now, they were not arguing like we would argue to say, yes, she may have won the popular vote, but if you take away California, okay, and all the illegals and any ballot stuffing and the likes with the two, Donald Trump would have won the popular vote by 2 million and change. Fact. So there's two different arguments here, but still truly the main argument to, let's look at it without the cheating. Hillary Clinton, as of not putting those factors in there, has the popular vote. Okay? That's just the way it is. Is it accurate? No. But technically speaking, she did win the popular vote. But when you look at the other, when you pull out the sides, and I shared a very good article about that where they did do that and pull away the numbers of California and the like and ballot stuffing and illegal. The bottom line in all this election and going into 2017 is people need to understand. By you all standing up, by everyone else standing up and helping Donald Trump, spreading the word, doing this and voting for this man, you beat these elite, corrupt globalists, as well as broke a dynasties of acute corruption in the United States. And these people are not happy. And these people are dangerous. And they don't care about you or I or our kids or grandkids or anything of the like. They don't. And it's America, it's up to America and people around the world to help open the eyes of others, to help and stand up for what their beliefs are and their rights are, and, not allow them to divide our country anymore or divide the world anymore. Yes, Jeanette, I've seen the map in California. I just got finished living in California for the past year. I have a lot of friends out there. This is not all against California. However, there was millions of votes that came in after the fact for California that all went to Clinton, and was a big swing part of the popular vote with Clinton. Yes, Catherine, good point. Just like Wisconsin fraud, Trump gained 147 votes. So, but my point in this is how people saw it and what they argued about. It's not about the none of this technical, believe it or not, none of this shit really means anything. The bottom line is this. The board was red. The whole, country was basically red. The Electoral College, must follow that, and they did. And they kept with a tradition since 70, whatever it was, 1876, 1874, whatever it is. Yes, Jolene, we have allowed them to get away with this, and I'm telling you, in 2017, it's the beginning of not allowing them to get away with it anymore. And this is going to be a long fight, but it can be won. And I believe with God on our side and people with the right intentions and the people with the right knowledge is powerful. Knowledge is very powerful. It's just how you use it that makes the difference, whether it's powerful or not. Joanne, that's funny. Yes, Laura, when you try to explain how Trump won, they get that glazed look in their face. Yes, I agree. But this is, you're seeing liberalism is the Democrats, and this liberalism is the work of many, many years of brainwashing. Basically, it is what it is. People have to understand that, or even around the world, this is not just the United States. Citizens around the world must understand that this is what's been happening. They truly brainwashing you with propaganda and psychological warfare and garbage, from video games to movies to food to, I can go, the list is endless. The list is endless. Too real fake news, or agencies not giving you the news, or biased, one-sided news. I mean, it happens every day. And people have to be awake, and I believe people are awakening to this, to make a difference and to stop it. Of course, Laura, if Hillary Clinton won, you would have never seen any of this out of all of us. No. Unless it was by a close margin to where it was fixed, for sure. Like, we'll say a swing state of Florida or something else, and the numbers were very close. Listen, what they did in this election did not work like they did in other elections. And believe me, most of these other elections were fixed. Okay, with the exception, Obama. Listen. Obama's true legacy is that of a failure. Sorry to tell you, anybody who's an Obama person, I mean, it is a failure. And when the true numbers come out, after Trump gets in there and you start to see the truths even further exposed, get ready. Hold on, Bat fans, because you're going to see a lot of shit exposed. And this man should be charged with war crimes, as should Hillary Clinton. In The Hague, like any other country, it's never been done to a U.S. president or official. So it's time. Let's make 2017 positive. We've overcome so much so far already. We have a good man going in as president, and the world is watching. The world is watching, and he is going to be, when he's sworn in, really pretty much the most powerful man on the planet. And he knows who got him there, but we need not to let him down and let ourselves down or let our country down. So I want to tell you all, thank you all for helping make MFA what it is. What was once a thought to me for having a march to stand up in D.C. on October, the weekend of October 31st, turned into something so incredible. And it's amazing, within 2 months, it's just been 2 months, how far MFA has come. And so many people who have not just donated or bought clothes, I'm talking about volunteers and their time, and people who have given their heart and all the prayers and all the support, as well as those who've been through some drama with us in the beginning stages of this and with me. I can't thank you all enough from my soul. This is very important to me. And I hate corruption. I hate liars. I hate, and usually when you're telling the truth, you're called a liar, That's why I wrote and been working on this book, and it would have been out already if I didn't have the person who I was going to write it. It's a complete, but more importantly, it's the truth that come from it, and I want people to know what I've been through, good and bad. Because if I can change one life, not to make the mistakes I did, or as to help somebody with the successes I've done, that means the world to me, as well as I want my children to know everything. And the people that have entrusted me and had faith in me, I want them to know everything. and I want to look people in the face. That's why I'm doing this videography that I'm putting together, like a mini-series. It's the same of the book, but actually more. You're going to get more content direct from me. It's something I have to do before I die, and I'm going to do it. Just like I want to make this foundation, this organization powerful for the good, powerful for the people. And within 2 months, you see this. You know what I mean? You see it. And it's just amazing. I've met so many incredible people. I have so anyway, I know this is not about judging. This, guys, just so you know, this has nothing to do with any of that. This is just me being me, and this is me just expressing what I want to say. And that's why I like video. I'm not a writer. I mean, I've never been a writer. I'm a horrible writer. I mean, if I read something, I know how it should read. I'm a very good legal writer, though. I can write legal briefs in my sleep, very successful ones. I can write, cases, motions in my sleep, lawsuits in my sleep. I think in another life I was a lawyer, and a good one. But I'd rather look somebody in the face, and that's how I started to expose corruption, what was happening to me, by using a video camera, by using video. And that's how this all started for me. As well as in my car, I used to do funny videos in my car, and not, serious, but then funny, and then I started to do shows. But my point, even the smallest ideas and dreams and goals can become the biggest things. And when you have good people together, it can become incredible, massive things. And I've watched it unfold. I've seen this happen. And that's what's happening here. And if people can just get on the same side to help one another, help our president-elect, go after the truth, expose it, be true patriots, and protect our country, because our country, we have very serious problems in this country and around the world. And it's not going to be solved overnight. It's not going to be solved on January 20th when Trump puts his hand on that Bible. It's going to take many, many years of hard work, of good citizens, good patriots, and a whole hell of a lot of prayers to fix this problem. Because you're up against a very dark force and a very wealthy, powerful force. Let's make 2017 that year to drain that swamp, to drain the ocean, as well as to be kind to one another. Good night. God bless.